Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is said to have many different twists and turns, as well as surprises in this film by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one great thing about this film that a lot of people are really looking forward to is, of course, exactly how J.J. is going to utilize all of the different aspects of the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy films that will be inserted into Episode 9. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to various concept art descriptions, this is where things begin to get very exciting for this movie. Now, specifically, shot descriptions consisting of both Kylo Ren and Rey in a standoff on a battlefield, where it's described that both of their lightsabers are ignited where a battle is going on in the background between the First Order and the Resistance. The next describes Rey making the first move by sprinting toward Kylo, where Kylo then begins to run toward her. It's described that as Rey gets close to Kylo, as he swings his lightsaber attempting to strike Rey, she jumps in the air and performs a front flip and just grazing Kylo's shoulder with her lightsaber. The next describes Kylo turning around and using the technique of force pull, where he is able to take Rey's lightsaber straight out of her hand. It said that this is when Kylo ignites the lightsaber and is wielding both his own and Rey's lightsaber. Rey is described to be left defenseless with only the use of the Force, where she is able to force push Kylo Ren before he is able to strike and takes back her lightsaber. It's described that this is when they begin to clash their sabers, where the environment around them becomes staticky and morphing into the planet of Ahch-To, where the stone huts are seen in the background. It's described to be a sequence in which Rey and Kylo Ren are fighting in front of the stone huts in daylight, with black clouds in the distance revealing an incoming storm, where eventually the environment begins to shift back to the First Order battlefield. So I really want to go over a couple of parts about all of this, because we do know that J.J. Abrams is introducing a concept called flash fights, which is basically a mixture of force bonds, flashbacks, and a regular lightsaber duel, which honestly, guys, I think that this is quite fascinating, because it's basically going to be J.J.'s way of bringing fans down a trip in memory lane while there's a lightsaber duel taking place at a certain point in time in this movie. Now, we do know that there are 2 lightsaber duels at least in Episode 9 between both Rey and Kylo Ren, plus the other duel between, of course, the new villain, Rey and Kylo. So technically 3. One of the other ones are very brief, the other 2 are said to be more major. So this particular sequence, guys, what I'm really impressed about all of this is that both Kylo Ren and Rey are in this standoff, where Rey eventually performs a front flip in mid-air. Now, we've seen a great example of this in the teaser trailer, except that was a backflip going over the TIE fighter, whatever TIE fighter that really is. It's a brand new one from what it seems for the Rise of Skywalker. But we do know that J.J. Abrams is really transferring a lot of the prequel trilogy choreography for the lightsaber duels and is bringing that into the equation here for The Rise of Skywalker, which honestly, I think that's a great move by Disney and Lucasfilm, because say what you will about the prequels, but the lightsaber duels, in my opinion, were fantastic. They were amazing, fast-paced, a lot of jumps, a lot of front flips and back flips, and all these different moves that we never got to see in the original trilogy, in that sense, that will now be making a full-on return in Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. So with that being said, I think that this is definitely a step in the right direction. Now, the other piece that I do want to go over is how the environment begins to morph into the planet of Ahch-To, where we do get to see the stone huts in the background. Again, this most likely lines directly up with what we went over 3 months ago about the set of Ahch-To being used for a sequence in Star Wars Episode 9. And that set was actually described to be the planet of Ahch-To returning in The Rise of Skywalker for whatever reason. Now it seems like we're starting to figure out exactly why the stone huts are back in Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, not just for a sequence involving Rey when she goes back to the planet, but also serving as a flash fight moment between both Rey and Kylo Ren. Now, the battlefield of the First Order is said to take place on an unknown world in the Outer Rim, which is the location of the First Order headquarters. So, like I say, guys, J.J. Abrams, he's really trying to bring in a lot of new elements to the Star Wars franchise that's really going to expand the current lore and the canon, and really changing certain elements of the Star Wars franchise. Now, to me, that's the one thing that we did not get to see in The Last Jedi. We never got a legitimate lightsaber duel between both Luke Skywalker and Kylo Ren. That is something that J.J. Abrams truly wants to bring back in The Rise of Skywalker in order to truly make it feel like a real Star Wars movie, which I felt like it was a little odd, very odd, I must add, looking at The Last Jedi and how we didn't get a real lightsaber duel where the sabers actually clashing together and everything around those lines. So what JJ is trying to do here, he's trying to give us a different type of lightsaber duel that we have never seen before on the big screen in the Star Wars franchise, which really does speak volumes, by JJ as a writer and a director and just as a creative. We do know that Kathleen Kennedy gave him full creative control. Pretty much everything is on JJ and Chris Terrio with this movie, as well as George Lucas. And that's the great thing about Episode 9, is that they really are treating this movie with special care, and they are using it as a course correction from what happened with The Last Jedi Backlash and the Solo: A Star Wars Story box office results. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again.